Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil. We are back with massive breaking news regarding Carlos Baleba. But before we get into all of that, please do me a small favour. If you are watching the show for the first time today, make sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and give the video a like. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this video. Right, before I bring you the news, I want to get your thoughts on Carlos Baleba. I'm going to set up a poll in the chat, and I'm going to ask the question for the people who are watching it back on repeat. Would you be happy with United paying £100 million for Carlos Baleba? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. £100 million. 100 million, what are we saying? So the question will be, would you be happy with United paying 100 million for Carlos Baleba? Yes or no? There you go. The poll is set up. Obviously, if you're watching this video back not live, you can get involved in the comment section. Get your thoughts in. I usually try and read through as many comments as possible. Yeah, I really like to see what the Man United fan base are thinking. So we're going to go straight in with the Carlos Baleba news. We're not going to beat around the bush here. We're going to go straight in with the big breaking news. There it is. Where is it? Where's it gone? It's run away. Where are you? Here we go. So this is coming out from a couple of different people, but we're going to read out the first news story here first. So it says an official bid from Manchester United for Carlos Baleba is now imminent. It says that a board meeting took place on Tuesday with Ruben Amorim. Amorim made it clear to the rest of the board that Carlos Baleba is a must signing for this summer. The club's credit facility, i.e. the credit card, is now in place, so they're ready to make a move. United is now ready to test Brighton with an official bid. So this was reported late last night, effectively saying that Tuesday, so 2 days ago, Manchester United held a board meeting with Ruben Amorim. Obviously, it would have been, all of the team, the head of recruitment, Jason Wilcox, Christopher Bell, etc. Yeah, everyone there sat down, working out what they want to do for the rest of the window. And it's been emphasised by multiple different journalists that Ruben Amorim is insisting that Manchester United sign Carlos Baleba. He's clearly identified that we have a huge gaping hole in our midfield, and he thinks that Carlos Baleba is the man to solve the problem. And you know what? I agree with him fully. I think he would be absolutely perfect. And I said this probably 10 times, maybe more. I think with the signings we've done so far, Šeško, Cunha and Bumo, I think we'll get top 10. Maybe 8th, 9th, something like that. I think that's probably realistic with what we have at the moment. If we bring in Carlos Baleba and potentially a goalkeeper, I reckon we could get top 6, top 5. I would say we'll be in the Champions League next season if we were to bring in Carlos Baleba. I think he would have that much impact. Our attacking options are looking great now. You've got Šeško, Cunha and Bumo. You've got Ahmad. You've got Bruno. You've got Mason Mount. You've got Xerxes. You've got Cheeto. We've got loads and loads of options in the attacking areas. 7 or 8 different players for 3 positions. All good ones as well. We've brought in 3, in my opinion, high-quality signings already in the attacking area. Our defence, I think, is pretty stacked. Maguire, not bad. Lenny Yoro, very good. Dallo, okay. Dorgu, massively improving. Who else do we have? De Ligt, I think, is solid. Who else? We have some other defenders that are missing. Must be some Lisandro Martinez. He'll be back soon. We have so many options in the defensive area. So I'm not worried about the defence. I'm really not. I think we are solid in the defence. We're solid in the attack now. But we still have a gaping hole in that midfield. Casemiro improved massively last season versus the beginning of the season. He was awful to begin with. But still, he's 33, 34 now, Casemiro. He's in the final year of his contract. Yeah, he's 33. His legs are pretty much gone. He's not going to be able to do it week in, week out. He's not athletic enough. He can't get about the pitch. So we can't rely on him. Mainu, I don't think is very good in the number 6 role. I think he's better further up the pitch. So we can't rely on Mainu to play a defensive role, unfortunately. Manuel Ugarte, I think the jury is still out on him. Some people are already writing him off. I always give players 2 years before making an assessment because I think, especially when a player's come to England for the first time, like Ugarte has, it does take some time to adjust, you know. I know for us, we're like, oh, they're paid loads of money. Like, it shouldn't take time to adjust. But, you know, these are people who lived in other countries, different climate, different cultures. It's just different, and it takes time to adjust. Different managers, different players, different stadiums, different conditions. Like, everything's different. So I always give players 2 years. I think, Cunha and Mbeumo, I'm expecting them to hit the ground running. They've played in the Premier League for a long time, 3 years, probably roughly each, maybe more. They know England. They've lived here for a long time. So I'm expecting those 2 players to hit the ground running, Cunha and Mbeumo, Šeško, obviously, again, we need to give time. It's his first year in England, completely different league. Everything's going to be different for him. So, give him time. I'm not saying if Cunha doesn't score in his first game that we should be all, shouting and screaming. I'm just saying you buy a Premier League player because they're Premier League proven, right? So, yeah, I think we're absolutely stacked in the attack. We're absolutely stacked in the defence. The midfield is a massive worry for me, and it has been for a long time. And I know a lot of you watching this video today will probably have a similar thought process to me, that it's so glaringly obvious that we need to sign a midfielder, and it's so glaringly obvious that a midfielder could take us from 10th to 5th. Because when you look at the other top teams in the Premier League, I mean, not even the top teams, right? If you look at any of the other teams in the Premier League, I would say that every single team in the Premier League, bar the teams that got relegated, had a better midfield than us last season. And there's no way a team that can be wanting to get Champions League football can have a worse midfield than Brentford, or a worse midfield than Brighton, or a worse midfield than Newcastle. All of those teams I've just mentioned, their midfields are levels above us. They are. It's a fact. There's no argument. You look at Newcastle. They got Guimaraes, they got Joel Linton, and they got someone else who I can't remember off the top of my head. But do you know what I mean? They've got Tonali. They've got Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joel Linton. Every single one of those 3 players would get in our midfield, without a shadow of a doubt. You look at Brighton, they've got Carlos Baleba. He would get in our team without a shadow of a doubt. You look at Liverpool, you get the point I'm making. So I'm so happy that Ruben Amorim is stressing to the board how important Carlos Baleba is to Manchester United. Because I honestly think without him, I think top 10 would be an achievement without him. Because our midfield is just going to get run through every single game. Even if we score, our midfield will just get run through. Whereas I think we will get goals next season, but we need to block that hole in the midfield. And I think Carlos Baleba is the person to do that. If it's not going to be Carlos Baleba, though, we need to bring in someone else. For me, it's not Carlos Baleba all or nothing. If we can't get Carlos Baleba, if the money's too much, that would be disappointing and I'd be sad. But we need a midfielder. I don't want to say I don't care who it is, because obviously I do. I want Carlos Baleba. But what I don't want is, in 2 weeks' time, us not to have a midfielder, and then Manchester United to brief the press saying, oh, we went all out for Carlos Baleba, but he was too much money. We're going to wait till next summer now. For me, that's throwing away the season if they do that. And maybe that's being dramatic, but just based off what I've seen in recent years, our midfield gets ran through every single game, non-stop, every game. And we can't afford to wait a year for Carlos Baleba to potentially be available. Because next summer, I bet you any money, there'll be 5 or 6 clubs looking to sign him. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, all of these top clubs will want to sign Carlos Baleba. They've all strengthened in midfield already this summer. Obviously, Arsenal have got Zubimendi. So they don't really necessarily need to buy midfielders right now, these teams. But I bet you any money, if we don't get if we don't get Carlos Baleba now, we'll be talking about him next summer, and there'll be a whole host of clubs trying to sign him, and we'll be bottom of that list at that point, probably. So we've got to do this now, man. We have to do this now. We've got to bring him in. And for me, I still think we need a goalkeeper as well, but I'm not confident. We'll get a goalkeeper, realistically. I think the likelihood of getting a goalkeeper now is quite small. Somebody says, at what point do we realise it's not the players, it's the way we are set up? So was that the same under Van Gaal? Was that the same under Mourinho? Was that the same under Ten Hag? So are we saying that every single one of our managers in the last 10 years don't know what they're doing? Is that what we're saying? I don't think I agree, to be honest, but fair enough. I mean, that's effectively saying that Ruben Amorim doesn't know what he's doing. Ruben Amorim has a certain style of play. They brought him in mid-season to play a system that they didn't have the players to play. So you're right in some senses. What you're saying is Ruben Amorim should have come to Manchester United and completely changed his play style to suit the players we had. But that's just stupid. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the the logic that, a manager should adapt fully to the players he has. I mean, why did the club bring him in if they didn't have any players that suited his system? That's the reason we finished so poorly last season. I'm honestly so confident that if Ten Hag had stayed, we would have finished top 10. We probably would have won the Europa League. The football wouldn't have been great, but we would have had a better finish, definitely, just because the players that we had suited Ten Hag's system more than the players that Ruben Amorim has, who don't suit his system at all at the moment. Obviously, that's changing. He's getting rid of the players who don't, but I think generally, most of the players that Ruben Amorim has at the moment, they're players from the previous managers, aren't they? But I get your point. Anyway, let's move on from that. So, obviously, we know that Carlos Baleba, yeah, exactly. Human beings got put in the exact right comment here. He says, Baleba deal is similar to the Euro deal. We need to get him before other clubs do. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so in relation to transfer fee, Brighton are apparently asking for around 100 million, which I think is excessive, personally. I don't think he's worth 100 million, but if that is what Brighton think he's worth, then fair enough. I would hope that we could potentially do some sort of like deal over a longer period structured. So maybe it's like 60, 70 million up front, 30 million in add-ons, 20 of them being easily achievable. Do you know what I mean? I would have no problem if the whole package of the deal was 100 million, as long as it was kind of structured based on performance. So maybe you give them 50, 60 million up front, right? Here you go. Here's 50, 60 million. And then you say, here's 20 million for this, here's 10 million for this, here's 10 million for that. Total package 100 million. So Brighton can tell the media, Sky Sports will be reporting it as 100 million pounds, but really it's like 60 million plus performance-based, add-ons, which I think would be the sensible way to do it. And I imagine that is how Manchester United will try and structure this deal. So yeah, I wouldn't overly be concerned about this one in the sense that I don't think Manchester United will massively overpay because they're not going to drop 100 million cash on him. It's just not going to happen. I would be honestly stunned if Manchester United dropped 100 million cash on him. It's just not going to happen. It just simply will not happen. I mean, I might be wrong. What do I know? But in my opinion, I don't think we'll drop 100 million cash on him. But obviously, stranger things have happened in football. So we'll obviously have to see what happens there. But all right, so that's the latest on Carlos Baleba. Moving over from there, we're going to do a really, really quick roundup on outgoings. So we're going to start with Rasmus Hojlund. Apparently AC Milan want to sign Rasmus Hojlund. Great. If we can actually get a transfer fee, I'd be happy. If it's a loan, I'm a little bit confused. I don't understand why we'd loan out Hojlund. We only have one striker in Šeško now. We need two strikers, Šeško and Hojlund. Fine. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. Garnacho, as we know, he only wants Chelsea. Chelsea in official talks with Manchester United. Manchester United asking for £50 million. Apparently Chelsea only want to pay 30 million. Hopefully we find some sort of middle ground between 30 and 50. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. But I think at the moment, apparently they want to only pay 30 million, which I think is a joke. They got 50 million for Madueke. They robbed us of 60 million pounds plus for Mason Mount. And now they're trying to offer us 30 million for Garnacho, a World Cup winner who, of his age, has got some of the best stats in world football in relation to goals and assists. So I think they're a bunch of jokers, Chelsea, but at the same time, if they manage to get him for 30 million, fair play to them. Like, if I was a neutral fan, I'd say fair play Chelsea. They clearly know what they're doing. So Garnacho to Chelsea looks likely. Sancho is just a complete mess. I'm sick to death of talking about Sancho. Apparently he's just rejected Besiktas. I mean, this is his level now. He doesn't want to go to Turkey. The Turkish fans are desperate for him to come. He put an Instagram post up, right? I think it was yesterday or the day before. It ended up with over 1 million comments on this post, and it's all Besiktas fans. All just spamming, come to Besiktas, come to Besiktas. And he's rejected them, just like he rejected Chelsea. I mean, does this guy actually want to play football? Or does he just want to stay at home and play FIFA and be paid his 250k a week from Man United? I genuinely believe, right, he would more than happily sit on his arse for the next 12 months, run down his contract, collect his 250 grand a week from Manchester United, not play, and play FIFA. I honestly believe that, because he showed absolutely zero intention of leaving. He's had all of these different clubs. He had Chelsea, who just won a European trophy, are going to be in the Champions League next season, Chelsea saying, we want to keep you. No, I want more money. I'm not gonna sign for you. I'm gonna go back to Manchester United. I mean, it's just laughable. And all I'm gonna say on this one is, I just hope and pray that we do not sign players with this mentality anymore, and that we've learned from our lesson. Yes, Jadon Sancho was a very talented player before we bought him. Yes, he had the world at his feet, but he's just completely messed that up, really. The window closes in 2 weeks. 2 weeks until the window closes. 2 weeks. Anyway, that's that. Okay, I think that's everything I've got for the show this morning. Let me see if there's anything else. Sancho wants to play FIFA. Yeah, I know. Everyone's asking about Kone. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate on this Kone situation, so I'm not going to say too much about it. But obviously, I'm sending only positive energy and, you know, I hope Kone gets better soon. I like I said, I don't want to speculate on what's happened to him. Obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, Manchester United had an under-21s game yesterday, and Kone had to get stretchered off and taken to hospital. We don't know anything more than that at this point. All we've heard is that he's conscious and that he's able to talk at the moment. But like I said, I don't really want to speculate on what's happened until we actually know. But obviously, yeah, I'm sending all of my love and all of my positive energy towards Kone. Such a shame. He's only just come back from injury, and I think this was his first game back, right, for the under-21s, and something's happened to him again. So yeah, really, really sad. Hopefully he's all right. Like I said, we don't know at this point exactly, what's wrong with him. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna speculate too much because we'll just have to wait and see. But yes. Oh yeah, let's talk about that quickly, Ant. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So if anybody missed it. Coca-Cola is apparently the new sponsor of Manchester United on a 3-year contract. So there you go. Manchester United have agreed a deal with Coca-Cola to become the carbonated drinks sponsor of Manchester United. There you go. I mean, it does work, doesn't it? Their brand's red, we're red. So yeah, I don't know how much money that deal's worth, but 3-year contract. I assume they're probably paying quite a lot of money, realistically. It's Coca-Cola, one of the biggest companies in the world. So yeah, I imagine they're probably going to give us a shed load of money, hopefully, and we will be advertising Coca-Cola. So there you go. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I'm going to go and get some breakfast. Make sure to drop a like. There's over 700 people in the room right now, and there's only 100 likes. What's that about? Not okay. Please do like the video before you go, guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are chasing down 50,000 followers by the end of the window, so please do make sure to subscribe. Obviously, I will go live if anything breaks. Thank you very much for joining me. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Bye-bye. I don't play...